Hello again, it's Murray Carter from Carter Cutlery. I want to give you a quick update on our Nano Hone system. I've had the system in place now for 4 or 5 months, and every time I use it, I just become more and more impressed with how thorough and how easy it is to use this whole system. But I want to bring you up to date on something here. This is one of the backing plates, which is a part that you can buy all by itself, that we had adhered a really old and a very thin stone to. And I'm happy to say that we've gotten 5 extra months of use out of this stone. And otherwise, it probably would have broken or cracked, or at least been very difficult to use when it's so thin. And we've just gotten so many extra uses out of it now, but I'm happy to say it has served its usefulness. And now I want to show you today how we can reuse one of these backing plates. But first of all, another discovery I've made is that an old toothbrush is a great way of cleaning all of your components, especially the backing plates. The little holes in the backing plates, you know, just once every month or so, clean those if you use them a lot. Cleaning your stone stage here, especially around these 2 protrusions where those plates hook in, is really nice, and you can clean the whole side. So just keeping a toothbrush handy is real good. Now, I'm doing this for the first time on camera. I've learned a few tricks about how to attach stones using the adhesive to new backing plates, but this is the first time that I'm attempting to reuse the backing plate. But you can see this stone. First of all, you can see this X in here. That was back in the day when I used king stones and other stones, and this is a king stone that we're actually going to adhere to this backing plate. But I used to put X's in the back side of the stones to discourage people from using both sides of the stones. What we experienced, what we observed was people's stones would get dished out, and so in order to have a flat side again, they'd flip it over and then they would use the other side. The problem is the stone became very unstable and in many cases unsafe to use, as it would wobble around. So by putting an X on one side, that encouraged them to only to use the one flat side and to maintain the stone as they went along. Not a problem when you're using backing plates because you only have access to one side of the stone. But that's an X from the old stone. So we've ground all the way through to the back side of this stone. So it has outlived its usefulness. So I now need to figure out how to get the rest of this stone off of here. And I think I'm going to just try using my neck knife. And let's see, I'm going to try from, oh yeah, look at that. It's just coming off real easily. Okay, well that's a relief. I didn't test this before filming. I'm going to keep going. That's the adhesive you can see there, so we're going to need to get all that off. But let's get the rest of this stone off. Of course, my knife's going to need to be resharpened once I'm finished with this. Don't use your very best knife to do this unless it's a Carter knife. There we go. So the trick here, I think, it seems to be apparent that the more you use your stone and get it, the thinner you get it through use, yeah, look at that, the easier it is going to be to get it off of there. And if the stone is too thick to be gotten off your backing plate, then you still have stone to use. I guess that's what that would mean. Okay, I'm getting to the thickest part of the stone here. Come on. There we go. Okay, nice. Came off in one fell swoop. Now I'll get my workstation clean here. I'll get the broom out in a little bit. So now we have the new challenge of getting the old adhesive off. By the way, this adhesive works amazingly well. During the time we used that stone, the stone never shifted, never moved, it didn't rock back and forth. That adhesive kept it absolutely rock solid. So we might do a little time lapse here because it's probably going to take me 3 or 4 minutes just to peel all this adhesive off. There are probably some chemicals that could do this as well, but it seems like my fingernail's doing just a fine job. I don't think you want to grind it off because if you do, you're going to lose the coloring on your anodization on that aluminum. Oh, that looks good. Come on. Oh, there we go. This stuff's pretty flexible. Okay, we're almost halfway done. I think this is one of those situations where you just pull slowly. Yeah, there we go. Okay, here, let's take a close-up of this. Okay, so I'm finding that this adhesive is fairly flexible, but if you pull it too quickly, it simply shears. So I think the technique here to get this off is to just keep pulling slowly with two hands. Yeah, this is way better. Just nice and slowly. Nice and slowly. Oops, pulled too hard. It's kind of interesting stuff. This would be a good bladesmithing challenge. See if anybody can get one of these pieces of old adhesive off in one piece without ripping it. Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's pick up where we were. We finally got all the adhesive off of our old backing plate. I'm just going to clean up the corners here. Okay. Oh, that looks great. Oh, I love the way the colors changed. That's really cool. Can't reproduce that without the passage of time. I think that's kind of pink around the edges where the plate was exposed to the elements. Cool. All right, so here's the stone that we're going to attach. We now have our reusable backing plate. We have a new piece of adhesive. We have a king stone. See, we didn't give up using the king stones completely, but they work way better in this system when they're attached to a plate. So what I'm going to do here is, I had a problem in the past by actually following the instructions and trying to stick the adhesive to the stone first and then sticking it to the plate. I have a better technique now. But what I need to do is make sure that the bottom of the stone is flat. So I'm going to use our diamond plate here and just hit the high spots just real quick. Not the best workbench. Okay, so you can see the obvious problem here now is we've got this stone dust all over the place. And that stone dust is as equally difficult to get this adhesive to stick to as if the stone was wet, which was the problem we had in the first video, if you refer back. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, you could just take a towel, you could just brush that off, or since I'm in a shop and I've got compressed air, I'm just going to hit that with the compressed air real quick. Now that we've blown that off, don't touch that surface. So last time, as per the instructions, I stuck the adhesive on the stone and then tried to stick the stone with the adhesive onto the backing plate, and that was really troublesome. And the reason why they want you to do that is because these adhesive is oversized. If I square up these two corners, you can see here that it's longer than it needs to be, and it's definitely wider. That's why they want you to stick it onto this, cut it down to size, and then put it on the backing plate. However, if I simply just hold that in place, I can trim it right there in place. And since I've got to sweep up anyway, I'm just going to let that drop. Now I've got the right size adhesive for the stone. And all I have to do now is make sure this is dry. And this cleaned up perfectly. Like that old adhesive came off. I didn't need to acetone that. I didn't need to do anything. But I suppose if you still had some adhesive residue on there, you might want to use something like acetone or goo off or something like that to get it to come off. So I'm just going to try to center it. Okay, and trying to do it in such a way that there's no air bubbles. Yeah, this adhesive sticks to that backing plate so much better than it does initially to the stone. Okay, so I got a couple little tiny air bubbles in there, but you're going to see that that doesn't even matter. If the experience of the past 5 months is any gauge. So now I'm going to peel the red side off and leave the adhesive stuck to. This initially is a little tricky. Leave the adhesive stuck to the backing plate. Here we go. Just kind of got to go slow. There we go. Nice. All right. So that's the back side of my stone. There's my backing plate. Do my best to line it up. Doesn't have to be perfect. Definitely doesn't have to be perfect. And voila. It's stuck on there. Now, the recommendation is that you put this on a flat surface and put something heavy on it for 24 hours. I've got an anvil actually, and we'll put it on there. In fact, I'll do it right here. I'm going to put it right here on the floor. And I'm going to go get an anvil. We got one that we're working on. Don't drop it on there. There we go. I'll leave that there for a day, and we'll come back, and we're going to have a serviceable stone. We got some here. That's the same setup. That's a king stone attached, surprisingly, to the same color backing plate. Now, these backing plates come in all sorts of different colors, so within your own sharpening system, your own Nano Hone sharpening system, you can have your stones color-coded. And here's another example. If you look under this corner, you can see that the stone isn't making perfect contact with the plate, but it doesn't seem to matter whatsoever. It's just as solid as can be, and probably right until this stone becomes 1 or 2 millimeters thick, at which point we would be cutting it off or breaking it off and attaching a new one as well. It doesn't matter. It's an amazing system with a lot of tolerance and forgiveness built into it. So this is Murray Carter with an update on how to replace a sharpening stone and at the same time reuse one of these amazing backing plates with this amazing Nano Hone system. So happy holidays to all of you and stay sharp. It's Murray Carter from Carter Cutlery.